Hey guys, John Man here for Deck of the Month for September, so let's go. And it is Rat Box, just so you know. I call it Ratta Tat Tat Box because it sounds kind of cooler. But anyways, so first off is Ryko, Lightsworn Honor. You're just going to use him for his basic effect, that's all he is. The mill's not as important in this deck, but does help get off some cards, but he's just here for the little destruction that he causes. But I mean, that's minor, but it's pretty good still because, you know, you need maybe to hit a card that is stalling you or prevent you from doing your plays, so he's still good. One card trooper, running him because he gets under a few cards you'll see later, but he's nice because you can pump him up and then beat your opponent down with 1900 or something. But otherwise, he's just there for, gives you some draw power and kind of thins your deck down a little bit. Next, one Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. Obviously, Gale's great, so why are we not going to run it? You're just going to want to run it just because he's Gale. That's pretty much all he is. You know, decrease your opponent's attack and defense by half. Or your opponent's monster, my bad. But I mean, that's still very good to be able to just decrease and then smash him down. So, 2, Legendary Jujitsu Master. Running him basically because he can be searched out, which you'll see why in a little bit soon why. But other than that, he's bounces your opponent's monsters back to their hand or top of their deck, and then hopefully you can do it again with, you know, Book of Moon. When your opponent attacks, just book them. So, 3, Psychic Commander. Here is your little engine that could. Reason why is because he can take down anything with 1900 or less in attack points or defense. And when you have 2 on the field, then he can take down anything with 24 or such, because you can use both their effects at the same time. And since his effect activates during a damage or during damage calculation, it's kind of harder to counter him. You just can't say, "Oh, I shrink him." If they're attacking with something with between 1100 or less, then you can, you know, kill it still. But if your opponent thinks I'm going to get over him with shrink, you know, it's kind of hard because his effect does work during damage calculation. One Barrier Statue of the Drought. This guy is great just because you can special summon him during the battle phase, you'll see soon. But what he does is that no monsters can be special summoned except for Earth monsters, so Earth attribute monsters. This pretty much kills Glider Beast in some ways. You can't bring out you can't bring out Mermillo, Aquari, Equest, I believe Darius, Hoplimus, and there's probably someone else. Oh, and Sand Knight, if I'm correct. You can bring them out, but otherwise, no Glider Beasts, they have a hard time. Infinities, they're all dark, so no problem there. And Lightsworns are dead. X-Sabers can get around him just because most of their stuff is Earth, or 90% of it is, so. But he's still great though, because you can still just surprise your opponent and big. You hold him down with him. 3 Giant Rat. Here is your main force of the deck. If you draw one of them and open your hand, you're pretty good and you're set for the rest of the game. If you don't know what Giant Rat does, which you should though, is when he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Earth monster from your deck that has 1500 or less attack points in face-up attack position. And then of course you shuffle the deck. But the cool part is that you can bring out all the monsters I showed you before except for Gale, Ryko, and then there's one other that you can't. But I mean, you can bring out all those other monsters and then just control your opponent with those monsters because they're usually controlling monsters or controllables. But you want to run 3 of him because he is, you can search out another Giant Rat if you have to. That's the nice part about Giant Rat. You can search out another one. 1 Hyper Hammerhead. Now you're probably wondering why I'm running this instead of a Grand Mole. But what he does is, first off, Grand Mole will die if you simply just book it face down and attack it. This doesn't work that way. This has 600 more attack points, and if I'm correct, I think has 900 more defense points, which is nice because you can't attack over it so easily. But what happens is when this monster battles an opponent's monster, unless the monster is unless it's destroyed by battle, the monster is returned back to the opponent's hand at the end of the damage step. So even if you book this guy and destroy him and send him to the graveyard, even with Skill Drain on the field, he'll still work and bounce your opponent's monster back to their hand. So that slows them down. And the cool part is you can bring him out with Giant Rat. So that's why I run him over Grand Mole. 2 Wildheart. This gets under the card you see later. The reason also why I run him because the Dimensional Prison's kind of relevant in this format with a lot of traps and stuff, but this guy is just great anyways because he's 1500 and he's special summoned by Giant Rat, and he's just a great beater, so that's another good reason to run him. 1 DD Warrior Lady, the only other monster 1500 attack points that you cannot special summon with Giant Rat, but she just removes stuff if you can't get rid of it, if anything else, so she's great for that. And last, 1 Gorz. Now the only reason we're running Gorz in here is just in case the opponent gets past our main offensive or defensive line, that at least this is a backup plan. And mind you, this does not conflict with barrier statue, just because obviously the statue has to be off the field in order to summon Gorz. If you think about it, clear field, summon Gorz. So yeah. Then onto the spells. 2 Fissure, along with 2 Smashing Ground. This keeps it so you can keep attacking your opponent directly. Now if you think about it, 1400 or 1500 attack points adds up real fast, so you know this works real great in the deck and gets rid of monsters that you can't get done by battle, you know, like Cyber Dragon or something like that. Some battle cards, battle phase tricks, Enemy Controller and Shrink, both very good, especially Shrink when you attack with Second Commander, because then if you can take down anything with, I believe if I'm correct, 3200 or less or more. I mean, I think it's 34 is the max, I believe, they can take down, so. But chances of your opponent summoning a 34-point beater is pretty low. 2 Book of Moon, obvious, because we're running Ryko and Jujitsu Master, so if they attack, you can just book it and then destroy something or bounce the monster, so it's really great. 1 Pot of Avarice, since we're having Ryko and Card Trooper, it kind of mills the deck, so, and this is nice anyways because it gets back your Giant Rats or something else you might need, so it helps keep it where you don't lose all your monsters, so since we're only running 17 actually. 1 My Body, just for a little bit of protection, and 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Yes, I am running just 2, not a Giant Trunade. I'm running these over a Giant Trunade just because I don't need to bounce anything really, and Wildheart's immune to traps, so I'm not really worried about him. So, but yeah, very nice. Now onto the traps. 1 Torrential Tribute, basically makes sense, and with Wildheart this is no problem, just they summon something, just go Torrential, and you keep your Wildheart, so it's another good reason to run Torrential Tribute. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, it's kind of obvious, we're going to run this because some of your stuff is little, so you don't want it to be destroyed by simple big beaters that you cannot control or take down at that time, so we're going to need to run Bottomless, obviously. 2 Dimensional Prison, another obvious card we're going to run here, just because we're running so much monster destruction stuff doesn't mean you can always take down certain ones. Like Stardust is a hard one to take down because you just, unless you use Psychic Commander and some other battle trick stuff, it's kind of hard to take down Stardust. So, but yeah, I mean, Dimensional Prison is still really good. So really good. So that's why we're running it. 1 Royal Oppression. All your special summons, and I mean all special summons except for Gorz, are gonna be during the battle phase with Giant Rat, and you cannot stop anything with Royal Oppression during the battle phase, or in this case the damage step, I should say. The reason why is because you cannot do anything during the damage step, or much with Royal Oppression, very little. So, and one of them is you can't stop searchers, or recruiters I mean, with Royal Oppression, so it's one way to get around Royal Oppression while still stopping your opponent a lot, so it's really good. 1 Dust Tornado, a little bit more spell and trap destruction. 1 Trap Dust Shoot, just look at your opponent's hand, it's really nice, even though everyone's sitting their hands these days, if you get this opening hand or during late game when your opponent has a bigger hand, just drop it on them and see what they have. Even if you don't hit a monster, it's still nice to know what they have. 1 Solemn Judgment, obvious why we're running this. I don't run Solemn Warning because the card's too darn expensive. Whoop, get out of here. 1 Gravity Bind. Now, if you notice, most of the monsters are either level 3 or can ignore that. One of them definitely is Giant Rat cannot, but going back, we have Wildheart because he's unaffected by traps. And then Psychic Commanders because all the 3s. Juju, Gale, Card Trooper, and Ryko. And last, Call Haunted, the last card in the deck. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not running Monster Reborn. You think I should probably run an Overcall. The reason why is my opponent decides to do a special summon that can be chained to it, say for example, like let's say if they Monster Reborn, I can chain to that, and special summon Barrier Statue of the Drought, and then the monster cannot be summoned unless it's Earth. So you can stop like Stardust coming back if you attempt to destroy it, because no monsters can be special summoned except for Earth. So you can really hamper your opponent. I mean, the deck has its, ways of working around stuff. So, but this is the reason why I run it, is because, and also if your opponent plays Giant Trunade, you can just go call the Haunted, bring back Wildheart or something. Especially Wildheart though, because he's unaffected by this. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much it for Deck of the Month for September, and that's pretty much it, and peace out.